Hello, my name is Kvederis, and the video I chose to watch was AI Isn't As Smart As You Think by Jeff Dean. And in this video, we meet Jeff Dean, who is the leading researcher in AI at Google. And for his background information, he went to the University of Minnesota and got a degree in computer science and economics in 1990. In this video, Dean really goes into the importance of AI and how beneficial it's been to our society already, but that there is so much more room for improvement and that we're essentially only at the tip of the iceberg. And I found this to be very interesting, obviously, because it shows what's ahead for our future. In this video, Dean talks about how AI has already helped us through communication, translating different languages around the world, predicting certain things, storms, floods, and even diseases, which that is amazing in the medical industry. Dean also gives us the background on it and about neural networks and computational power, which this is a very old idea. Neural networks, they were first thought of in the 1960s, but they couldn't put anything towards it at the time. And Dean thought of implementing the system in 1990. And when he attempted to do so, there was not enough power for it. And it wasn't until around 2005, early 2000s, that they were able to run a system with enough power to test their theory. And this proved to be correct. They ran a system on YouTube, and while the system was running, they were able to find that the neural network was able to pick up on cats and identify pictures and videos of cats as cats without anyone telling the system about cats prior. And I found this to be really interesting because it shows how AI is able to learn from itself and the data that you give it. Now in this video, we learned about Dean's three main problems with these systems. And the first problem we found was that the neural networks could only work on one task at a time, and this could be very slow, inefficient, and Dean saw that it would be better if they could run a system to run multiple tasks at one time. But at the time they were running the systems, it was only trained to do one task at a time. The second problem is that these systems only could deal with images, text, sound, and video, but all individually. They couldn't mix them together. So Dean, he obviously proposed an idea to implement all of these, the text, sound, and video, and images all at the same time, which will cause for greater efficiency when further developed. The third problem is that today's models, they're very dense, which could lead to many complications, and the whole system has to be activated just to perform one certain task. Dean's idea was for them to run a sparse model, which would be a system that only uses the certain parts they need. Like they only activate the parts they need for the system rather than activate the entire system, which creates better efficiency and less complications. Dean also emphasizes the importance of getting relevant information for the system to, yet again, stay away from these complications and make it easier for the system to run. Dean's main purpose was for them to move from a single-purpose system to general-purpose intelligent systems. And I found it just to be very interesting about how if they can successfully develop these systems and implement them in our society, it could potentially benefit billions of people around the entire world. Dean also stresses the importance of monitoring and having principles when you develop AI systems. And he also talks about how him and his team at Google, they collab with plenty of other teams from Google and get their ideas and inputs about how they should go about developing the systems to make sure they're being safe. Because the big question that they asked at the end of the video was, are they going to be intruding people's privacy? And Dean said that that's what their whole purpose of the team is, to make sure that they're being safe around that, so they're not breaking privacy barriers. And Dean really emphasizes the importance of having principles, like I said before, and making sure that you're safe with doing this. because it's great what they're doing in developing the systems, but at the end of the day, you have to be safe to make sure that everything will go along successfully. Now, for my 3 questions about the video, my first one was, how much energy will be used to develop these systems? Because he had to wait for so long just to be able to run the neural networks that they first developed. And I wonder how long it would take us to be able to have enough power to run the new systems he wants to implement. And I also wonder, how much money will this end up costing? Because I'm sure money won't be that big of a problem for Google, but I'm just genuinely curious about how much it would cost them financially, but more energy-wise. My second question is, have they been able to test any of the systems at all? Because relating to my last question, if they don't have enough power to run the system, how would they know if it's good? Because in theory, it looks amazing, but you have to test that theory and see if it could actually be implemented and work. Because Dean makes a bunch of great points of how this could be helpful, but I don't believe he showed any prime examples of the system running. It was just what he thought could happen. My final question is, how long do we have to wait for these systems to be in place? Because back to my 2 other questions, the first one about how much energy we need, and who knows how long it could take for us to be able to get enough energy, or maybe we already do have enough energy and we could see this in a year or 2, which I doubt that, because even if we had enough energy just to be able to develop the system and have it be efficient as possible, it will take a long time to do that. But say we don't have enough energy, this could be anywhere from 10 to 20 years, 15 years. That's my question, because I feel like this could be a game changer to society as a whole. And like he said, it could help billions of people around the world. How long do we have to wait for that to happen? And that is all I have for my report about the video we watched on AI isn't as smart as you and Jeff Dean. I thought this video was great. I found it to be very informative and interesting. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the future.